friends. How are you guys doing today? Welcome back. I hope you're having a great day. I know I am because I can sit here and talk to you guys for a little while. I am excited to tell you guys about a new movie that I just got to check out. It's from this year. But before we check it out, before we talk about it, hit that like and subscribe button so you can get notified when I post new content. Guys, this is called A Night's War, directed by Matthew Ninaber. Now, this is something special, I gotta say. This is, so I was, I'm in a bunch of movie groups, and this was in a sword and sorcery group that I am a member of. And somebody was, singing its praise, saying what a good film it was. It was low budget, but, if you like 80s fantasy, 70s and 80s fantasy, you know that most of that is pretty low budget. So I was willing to give this a chance after seeing him sing, seeing this person sing the praise of this film. And I'm not going to lie, I had seen it a couple of times on Prime while I was scrolling through movies to watch, and it looked really interesting. But at the time, I wasn't, the price wasn't right to rent. And I wasn't really looking at, after watching the trailer, I wasn't super impressed by it. So I just let it kind of slip through the cracks, didn't pay it any more attention until I saw that post and somebody was talking about how good it is. So I rented it, came home one evening, and I sat down and I watched it. And guys, this is one of the best low-budget fantasy films I've seen. If you've ever played the game Dark Souls or Eternum, A New World, anything like that, this is almost like a film representation of those games. Basically, our plot is there's been this prophecy where a redheaded woman child who is immune to fire will basically, throw the world into chaos. But there's a sect of knights that want to protect this woman because they think that her basically second coming will be like, set everything right kind of thing. And so, okay, cool. Well, we get our first little taste of that at the beginning when a woman is burned to the stake, handcuffed to this redheaded girl, and the girl don't burn, but the lady does. And it's like, okay, so they're not squeamish. They're willing to show things. They're willing to do things that might make you uncomfortable to get you engaged. Okay, cool. I'm down with that. So we start watching it, right? I do. And then my wife is in the room, and she winds up putting her phone down, putting her book down, and kind of checking it out too. And now the premise is they find the girl. The guy, this knight and his brother knight find this prophesized girl. They're in this evil monastery, this sect of people. She winds up getting taken by a demon in a pool. The brother winds up hurting his brother and putting him in the pool so he can go after the girl. He's like, "Would you said you're willing to die to protect her, so here." And he sends him to another world. And in this world, he makes a deal with a deity. And he puts on this necklace, and the necklace gives him 100 lives. He can die 100 times before the power runs out. And then if he dies after that, well, too bad, so sad. You gone, homie. And so I thought, man, that's a very, very interesting concept for a fantasy film. And the thing is, so this is, our main character is Jeremy Ninaber, okay? The brother of the knight and he's our main character. He's the knight that goes to the other world. The brother of him is Matthew Ninaber, the director. So there's two brothers playing the main roles in this, but we also have a third player, and her name is Kristen Caston. Now, when she goes, she's the red-haired girl that is immune to fire. She winds up, when she gets taken as a child, she's been there for years when he finally finds her in this other world. And so she also made a deal with the deity. She has 100 lives as well. So it's very much like they're trying to fight these guardians. There's 3 guardians. They have to get past these guardians to basically get back to the land of the living. And it is just so well done because there's no real CGI in this film. Everything is practical. There's this guy called the Invoker or something like that, and he's like a horned demon. He looks like Skeletor and Darkness from Legend had a baby. He's the coolest looking demon bad guy because he's like, when you're wearing the talisman, he can't see you because you're not supposed to be in the land of the dead if you're alive. But when take off the talisman, he sees you and he comes for you and he knows where you are. And he's just a really cool looking villain. And then we've got these witches that are also really cool, and it's all practical effects. There is like no CGI that I can tell. Even the blood and the gore and everything looks real. It looks like they took chicken livers and sausage links and chopped them all up and put them in red food coloring to make the gore. It looked amazing. The film itself, the aesthetics. And for being, I'm guessing this movie probably cost less than $1 million to make. I'm probably guessing maybe less than $500,000 to make. But for the money spent, you got the director, the producer, everyone knew the assignment. They knew how to spend their production money on the right things to make this the best it can possibly be with the funds they had. They had the right filter on the camera to make everything look kind of gray and dark and I guess medieval, more medieval looking. And then you've got your costume design with the heavy plate armor and the furs and the castles and all this. But the thing is, it's all, if you see the big castle, yes, that is more than likely CGI, especially the background, the clouds and all that, you could tell. But as far as that up close stuff, like them being inside the castle and taking on knights and all of that is practical. And so they spent their money well on their set designs, on their cinematography. The score, man, a score makes a movie sometimes. And the score to this felt appropriate. It was appropriately swashbuckling and epic, and it sounded like something you would see or hear in a Lord of the Rings movie. It was very, very well made for what they had. And so I have to say that Matthew Ninaber, if he was to make more fantasy films, if I was a producer, if I was an executive producer somewhere and I saw this film, I would reach out to him and I would say, hey, let me hook you up. Let me get you a studio. And if I was really a good producer, I'd say you ain't going to have no interference. You're going to make the fantasy film you want to make with resources. Because I can see this guy doing something amazing in the genre if given the right resources and the right encouragement, we'll say. So I really liked A Knight's War. When it drops in price and if it ever gets a physical release, I'm going to purchase it because, again, I thought it was one of the most unique fantasy films I've seen in a very, very long time. There are a lot of fantasy films out there that are just, garbage. They're like fake elves. They look stupid. There's fake orcs. They look dumb. This didn't rely on heavy special effects, and the special effects they had looked amazing. This was story driven. This was character driven, and it is so worth your time. So if you get a chance, guys, check it out. It is worth it. And I encourage you, when you do see it, come back and let me know what you think about it, guys. But that's going to be it for A Knight's War. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for just a little while and talking about it. Hit that like and subscribe button on the way out. And as always, my friends, I'm going to keep making them as long as you guys keep watching them. Peace out. God bless you, and I will see you soon.